Breakdown is presented by John's Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow.
Welcome into The Breakdown. It's a bye-week edition of The Breakdown. Phil Perry, Ted Johnson here with me. Ted, let's look ahead in today's breakdown, shall we? Try to figure out what this Patriots team can do well moving forward in the second half of the season, but they are coming off this bye. How much can you really change in your experience, though, during that bye week if you're an NFL franchise?
You know, there's not a ton you can do differently. I mean, you kind of got to love the one you're with at this point. But you know what? These guys get away for a week. They go somewhere. They just kind of unplug. And mentally, they can come back and be in a different place from a mental standpoint. And that's what I'm hoping happens with this team because we have some very important games coming up. 8 games, and the competition only gets tougher, Phil.
No question. So maybe not wholesale changes, but maybe some tweaks, some adjustments here and there, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. You know Bill Belichick will be looking at all his options there. The Patriots offense leaving lots of room for improvement through the first half. In 9 games, they've topped 30 points just once. They ranked 26th in yards per game, 21st in third downs. They're 29th in turnovers, boy, and 28th in red zone offense. So what can they do to get the offense clicking in the second half? It's time for our first breakdown. It's time now for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. Ted, let's talk a little RPO, the old run-pass option. If Mac Jones likes things when they are spread out, if the Patriots want to get ahead of the chains on first down as opposed to running into a brick wall on first down, which they've done quite a bit through the first half of the season, the RPO might be a good way to go about it. We have one lined up here from that Jets game a couple weeks ago. They're in the red zone, helps them eventually score a touchdown.
Yeah, this is a play that I'd like to see the Patriots run more of out in the field. This is clearly they have issues in the red zone, 28th in the NFL and in red zone. This is a well-executed play on first down to really, I think, keep the Jets off balance. And they come back to a similar play like this later in the game and have success as well. So here's what the Patriots are doing right here. They're on the 15-yard line going in. They have trips right here. They have Ramondre Stevenson offset here. Of course, the quarterback's in the shotgun position. What the quarterback is reading, Phil, at the beginning of the play is, where are the numbers? Where are guys lined up on this play? And should I run the ball this way, or should we pass after the run fake? He's looking at Mac Jones. He likes to, what they're taught on offense is to split the kind of hash mark down the middle of the formation right here. How many guys are on this side and how many guys are on this side? To the quarterback, he's looking at it, he goes, look at all these guys over here. So the Jets were anticipating running this side. They put a lot of their coverage and guys over here. A lot of teams set their strength to the tight end side. So a lot of guys are over here. So what you're going to do is, at the snap of the ball, they're going to fake. This is the RPO. This is the run pass option. What the Patriots do a great job of on this play is they pull the center and they pull the guard, okay? And that gets guys flowing this way. C.J. Mosley, he's not fooled by this play, and it didn't matter because it still was a big gain. He hesitates a smidge to go this way when he sees these guys, but what he sees is this receiver right here, Jacoby Myers. He kind of backs up a little bit to give these guys time to get down on their blocks, and then he faked the handoff to Ramondre Stevenson, pull these guys. It sucks coverage over here, and then he throws it right over here to Jacoby Myers, who's got these 2 blockers for him right here, and it's basically one-on-one with C.J. Mosley, and he gets through here. C.J. gets him, but it's already a 9-yard gain, and they set themselves up for a play later to get it in the end zone. This is a well-executed play, pulling the guard and center to fool the linebackers. He doesn't like what he sees to run the ball over here because of the numbers, so he passes the ball it does a great bubble screen right here. Jets are caught off guard. It's an excellent play in the red zone, perfectly executed, that sets them up for a touchdown. These RPOs, he's very comfortable doing this stuff, and it really is. They've had a lot of success running. I think they ran 12 or 13 of them against the Jets and had really good success with them.
Yeah, Mac Jones ran a ton of RPOs at Alabama, Ted, and for the quarterback, it's a pretty easy read, right? Like you said, it's a numbers game. You look at all the numbers over here. Okay, run doesn't look so hot. Basically 2-on-2 here on the outside with an opportunity to get one of your best players the ball and a lot of room to work because C.J. Mosley's looking for the run.
That's right.
Ends up being a good play. Might we see more of those moving forward? Matt Patricia was recently asked about the Patriots' more extensive use of RPOs. Here's what he had to say.
As you look at different maybe offensive trends and things that are in the league or in college football, or obviously a lot of things that our guys are familiar with being young and right out of college, in that situation that they've had a lot of success for and have been positive plays for them. So you certainly want to, see what maybe applies, what doesn't apply, and you'll build those things over time. I think those type of plays, you don't just kind of throw in at the last minute. There's things that maybe you're working on kind of in the background from that standpoint. And they came up, but there's a lot of plays that have different sort of, whether it's the RPO catchphrase, the run pass option, or different plays that maybe have different sort of run pass looks based on what you're seeing across the ball.
All right, it's time for Ted Neek. Ted Neek is presented by Shaw's, perfecting the art of fresh. We have brought aboard our friends Tom Giles, Trenny Casey to play offense with yours truly. I will be the quarterback. I have a running back and an offensive lineman alongside Ted. You're going to be C.J. Mosley.
Yes.
And we're going to tell people about the R in the RPO. We just showed them the PO portion of the RPO
Correct.
on the board, but let's talk about the run portion of these types of plays.
All right, so the Patriots ran that RPO that we showed you, the bubble screen to Jacoby Myers early in the game, and what they did is they set it up perfectly because later in the game they came back with that same formation but flipped. All right, so now it's trips to the right side as opposed to the defense's left side like we showed you, and now C.J. Mosley, he recognizes the formation from earlier when he got kind of beat on the play, and so he sees the wide receiver out here, and he's thinking, okay, this might be a bubble screen, and he's looking out here, and he goes, maybe I need to go out here a little bit because I don't want to get burned on the bubble screen. So his alignment is already widened at pre-snap, okay? And then this is what happens at the snap of the ball. Go ahead,
Well,
Phil.
yeah, and Mac Jones is reading the defense, and he's looking at C.J. Mosley, and he's saying, okay, he's out
away from the
wider.
formation.
He's almost in a slot cornerback type of positioning.
Guarding that bubble screen.
As opposed to being right in the middle of the defense. So he says, okay, this is a tasty look for my running back, Damian Harris.
That's it, buddy.
We've got Mike Owenu, Big Mike at right guard. He's going to pull on a power sort of look, and instead of throwing out to the bubble, which Mosley is prepared for, he's going to hand this thing off. So we're going to say, set hut.
So Mosley's looking out here for the bubble screen, and he turns his attention back inside, but by this time it's too late because Ramondre Stevenson comes through the hole and literally knocks C.J. Mosley over, partly because his attention was over here, and when he gets his eyes back to where the play is, Ramondre's got a full head of steam going, and CJ kind of gets knocked back a little bit. And so it's a nice little wrinkle that the Patriots did. They showed that play earlier with the formation flip. They threw the ball out of it. This time they decided the numbers favored them because C.J. Mosley was outside of the box more to run the ball, and that was a smart thing.
And if Mosley was further inside, it's just the difference of a few yards, Ted. That's really all it is. It truly is a game of inches. It's not all that much difference in terms of space, but once he gets into the box, now I look at it if I'm Mac Jones and say, okay, well, this isn't a great look for my running back here, so we'll say set hut again, and instead of handing it off, I'll pull it and throw the bubble. And I got to get that thing out relatively quickly because my linemen are blocking the run. And if they get too far downfield, then that's a penalty. So you have to try to throw that thing relatively quickly. As long as they're within a yard of the line of scrimmage, technically, you should be good.
I concur with everything you just said there. Good job, Philip.
We're learning things here. Okay, welcome back to the breakdown. It's time for my report card. My report card is presented by the Massachusetts School of Law. The Patriots are a mediocre team so far here at the bye, and they're getting some mediocre grades. All right, B's and C's across the board. The lowest grade is C- for the offensive line. The linebackers and running backs get a B+ as the two best grades that we have for the team thus far. Ted, when you look at this, can the Patriots continue to get by this way, where it's play good defense? We saw the grades there, pretty good defensive grades, and just don't turn it over. Just play safe, get some field goals from Nick Folk. Is that a sustainable model?
It's not, Phil. It's not. Why? Because the teams they play, the next 8 games, they're better. I mean, the teams are going to be better. There's more. There's good. There's great, and there's elite quarterback play that they still have to face that they haven't faced so far this year. And the quarterbacks that they have played, the really good ones, Lamar Jackson's, the Tua Tagovailoa's, those are the guys that they've lost to. So they have to be better against these elite quarterbacks if they're going to have a chance.
And these defensive players, these standouts for the Patriots, have to continue to stand out. Whether it's Matthew Judon or some of the corners, let's take a look. It is a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Let's take a look at their stars on that side of the ball through the first 9 weeks. These numbers are presented by your local New England Ford dealers and Ford trucks, built Ford tough. Matthew Judon leads the NFL with 11.5 sacks. The Patriots also, as a team, are second in sacks. And in the secondary, Pro Football Focus has Jack Jones graded as the league's third best corner this season. John Jones coming in at number 10. That brings us to our next breakdown. Back out here for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. Ted, this Patriots defense has carried the team at times through the first half of the year. We're going to take a look at a play here that encompasses some of what they're good at. This is another play from that Jets game. It's a third down play in the red zone. Patriots defense been pretty efficient in those situations. You've got a call at the top of the board here, cover one rat, that I know you think will be called quite a bit over the course of the second half of the year.
Yeah, the Patriots do a great job on defense of executing this cover one rat here. My guess is they'll play a lot of this coverage moving forward, because with a lot of the mobile quarterbacks, you want to have one guy as the spy, also the rat. This would be Mac Wilson in this scenario when they played the Jets, and they executed this very, very well. The Patriots defense did. All right, so cover one, okay? Well, cover one is man-to-man single high safety. So there's usually 5 rushers, 5 guys covering with a single high safety, but the rat takes one guy out of the rush to help spy and look for crossers to hit. Cover one, free single high safety with every one man across. So right here at the start of the play, they put Braxton Berrios right here, the former Patriot Braxton Berrios in a trips formation. Jonathan Jones has him man-to-man. You have Jalen Mills right here, and you have Adrian Phillips over here. On the backside, you have Joshua Bledsoe and Devin McCourty on the running back. Those are the guys in coverage. But what Braxton Berrios does is he comes in motion right here. He comes in motion across the formation, and then at the snap of the ball, he loops around. Here's what happens, though. So as he motions over like this, Jonathan Jones goes with his coverage. That's his guy, man-to-man, right? So he's got to fight through all this traffic and get over here. And then at the last second, once Braxton Berrios gets right here, he starts looping around this way. And so Jonathan Jones, instead of going back through the traffic and getting caught up in it, he goes over the top, tells Miles Bryant, hey, you take Braxton Berrios. He slides over here to get his coverage. Now you have Jonathan Jones playing a free safety. So here's a cornerback who was lined up man-to-man, motions over, pushes the coverage over to Miles Bryant, and now he's playing free safety. So these guys got to know what everyone's jobs are to be able to do this, and it works out perfectly. So the Patriots don't get out leveraged. So now Jonathan Jones is the free high safety. These two guys run posts from the outside. They do a great job out here, Adrian Phillips and Jalen Mills, of keeping outside leverage to force them to go where? Inside, right? Inside to where your help is on the backside. The tight end does a hook shot right here. This running back goes out flat out into the flat. These two guys match up on these two, and here's the kicker. So the Patriots have it covered perfectly by pushing the coverage right here. Now you go to the offensive line for the Jets. Because of these two defensive linemen for the Patriots lined out really wide right here, and the quarterback knows the running back is going to do a free release into the flat. He's not going to stay into block. So he sets the protection to slide right, slide the offensive right. By doing that, it opens up a lane on the backside here for Matthew Judon. This linebacker right here, Josh Uche, when he comes up, he has to make sure, Phil, that he goes inside. So they're sliding right. So these guys got these guys covered. Max stays here, right here. You have Josh Uche who comes up, sugars, and then he goes hard inside to bring the guard over here. Oops, don't worry about that. The tackle oversets. He jumps out because he's worried about Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon sets him up. He's going to go out, and then he counters backside. He comes back inside, puts pressure on the quarterback. The quarterback makes the throw out of the end zone. Everything's covered. The line slides right. The Patriots have a perfect plan to get Matthew Judon one-on-one coverage on the backside and not put extra rushers in there so you can keep him back in coverage. This was a great executed play that I think the Patriots are going to do a lot down the road here.
Versatile pieces in coverage, freaks on the line of scrimmage who can win their one-on-one battles. Yep. A fired-up Ted Johnson, magnets flying everywhere. It's a beautiful thing. You love it. You know the Patriots love it if they can play that way through the final 8 games of the year. The energy's through the roof.
I ran out of breath.
As good as the Patriots' pass defense has been so far, their job is about to get a whole lot tougher down the stretch. Take a look at the opposing wideouts on the upcoming schedule. The Patriots will go up against 7 of the NFL's top 9 leaders in receiving yards per game over the final 8 weeks. So how can they slow down the likes of Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, and DeAndre Hopkins? Time for some more Tednique, which is presented by Shaw's. perfecting the art of fresh. And Ted, we're going to focus on some secondary play here. A lot of times we like to talk about what's going on in the trenches. But you believe, because of those matchups that they'll be faced with down the stretch here, that the play in the secondary has to be on point. What do they have to do at corner?
No doubt, Phil. It has to be. And so the three things they got to do in the secondary to continue having success is these better receivers. They have to be very physical at the line of scrimmage with their jams. They have to be very good disguising. And then lastly, they have to be versatile. Like that last show we showed you where Jonathan Jones pushed his coverage over to Miles Bryant, and so you can play multiple positions. When you do that, it really confuses the quarterback because usually guys play the same position every single week, so it makes the reads easier for the quarterback. But when you have guys playing different positions each week, it's very confusing for the quarterback. So let's go through the first example of being physical at the line of scrimmage. The Patriots, going back to my days when I was on the team when we played the Colts, okay? We were very physical with these wide receivers because there's so much speed out there that you got to slow them down and mess with the timing. So at the snap of the ball, the receiver, boom! You want to hit this guy on the shoulder and force him inside. A lot of the coverage the Patriots play is with help in the middle of the field. So be really physical. Say, hey, boom, get your hands on him. Usually just one hand. And mess up his timing. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is this, disguise. You can show up, you can go up here and show like, oh, you man press, and right, the quarterback's got his cadence, and right as he's winding down to snap the ball, then you can start going back into a softer zone coverage. So you got to be able to disguise, and that goes both ways, where you can show pre-snap, it's soft coverage, maybe it's cover 3, and then as the ball's about to get snapped, get up here and then jam the guy at the line of scrimmage. That's another thing. Also very good the Patriots are with their disguises, okay? They do a lot of corner blitzing. For instance, do not show your blitz and tip off to the quarterbacks, because the quarterbacks they're playing are a lot smarter. Make sure at the snap of the ball, say, hey, boom, that you don't show it, tip it off to the quarterback. That's another thing. And then lastly, Phil, is versatility. So you're going to be Braxton Berrios in this scenario. I'm going to show you what Jonathan Jones did. It's so key in that last play. If the Patriots can do this, that they can push off coverage, it really creates fusion and they don't get out leveraged. So for instance, Braxton Berrios, go ahead, he goes to motion, Jonathan Jones has him man to man. Awesome. I got him. Oh, wait a minute. Now he's going back over. Push, 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 push. Push my coverage over. Replace with the middle of the field safety. It's that kind of stuff. So you don't get out leverage, so you don't get caught up in the wash. That if a smart defense like the Patriots have can win some games, but it's going to be tough against these better quarterbacks.
You wonder why Bill Belichick values intelligence and the ability to process on the defensive side, especially in the secondary, as much as he does. Why he loved all those Rutgers guys, right? Not the biggest program in the world,
that's right,
but some smart players that were able to come into his defense, play a variety of different spots, made it really hard on opposing offenses. 49ers beat the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Once again, a hit for an underdog and an under. But we're not here to talk about gambling trends. No, we're talking about playoffs. That's right. If the playoffs started today, friends, the Patriots at 5-4 would be the third wild card team, all out of the AFC East, and they would have a first-round matchup with the division-leading Dolphins. Monday Night Spotlight is presented by the Oakers Company, proud sponsor of the New England Patriots. Ted, you look at the playoff picture there, all 4 AFC East teams would be in today if the season ended today. It's unbelievable. What's your reaction?
Mind blown. I mean, 4 teams from a division being going into the playoffs with that 7-team added. Now that is a possibility. Look, the Patriots now, even though they're mathematically in, they have a lot of work to do, Phil. The wide receivers got to step up. The tight ends, they just have to get better play from Mac Jones if they're going to be a real, true, I think, playoff team.
I think they have to find an offensive identity. They have to get more efficient there. As you mentioned earlier in the show, the formula can't be just play good defense, don't turn it over, Nick Folk, win the day. So if they can do more than that, then maybe they have a chance to go on some kind of run here, Ted. But does it give you any hope as a Patriots fan to look at what's happening in Buffalo specifically and say the quarterback's a little banged up, they're not winning all the games that they should be winning. They coughed one up yesterday, the Vikings, unbelievable game there. Does that give you any optimism if you're sitting at home watching this thing and wondering, can my team make a run?
That's a good question, Phil, and I'd say a smidge. I'd say a little bit. I get a little bit of hope because the Buffalo Bills are not good at finishing games. They don't know how to win close games. So if the Patriots can keep it close, then that gives me hope. I mean, let's face it, the Buffalo Bills had horrible turnovers and still scored 30 points and almost won the game. So the Bills have a lot of margin for error, and I just don't know if the Patriots are good enough to overcome that.
And maybe they won't be when those two teams match up twice, second half of the year here. But if you're looking at the rest of the schedule, the Cardinals not as good as we thought they might be. The Raiders not as good as we thought they might be. The Patriots might end up a 9-10 win team. They might be able to get in with 9 wins.
I think 9 wins might do it, Phil.
It might happen this year.